Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast, get notified when new episodes go up throughout the rest of the season. Section 420, Talkin Yankees. I'm sure there's a subscribe button in front of you. Click that and get the notifications. So, big Houston Astros come to town, and for the Yankees, this was going to be their prime matchup. Again, Yankees record-wise about 9 games better than them, but of course, this is the Houston Astros team that's been a thorn on the Yankees side, maybe just as much and maybe even more than Tampa Bay Rays have. Again, the Yankees fresh out of a nice visit down in Tampa, taking 2 out of 3 games there, 2 exciting wins. And so now the Yankees come home, and we're going to host the Houston Astros for 4 games. And again, this is now the Houston Astros that now includes Verlander. Again, Houston, past couple of years or so ago, had been a little banged up a little bit. And Verlander was out for needing the Tommy John surgery. And even before the season started, you were hearing some rumors possibly the Yankees were kicking tires on him, but he turned out to take the 2-year deal to remain in Houston. So much for those rumors about coming to the East Coast. So this was kind of like, the old Houston Astros, kind of the nemesis ones, them at kind of back at full strength that the Yankees, and good test for them. Again, the Yankees pitchers been steamrolling everybody. You can't use the excuse, well, they've been beating teams under 500. They've been also beating the teams over 500. So, this was going to be the prime matchup for the Yankees going into the, obviously, so far this season. And, just to backtrack a little bit, again, I mentioned the last episode, kind of did a little rant on Judge about, why it's not a good idea for him not to participate in the home run derby, as well as don't go burn himself out if only could go is Maris's 61 home runs. But, before the series started, he was finally going to have his hearing in terms of the arbitration. And remember, that's usually something that gets handled in spring training. But just because of the lockout season kind of delayed that got pushed into the regular season. Judge wanted $21 million for this year. The Yankees were offering 17, and the arbitrators, before this game wasn't officially announced till later, but they did come to agreement. Turns out that figure is going to be $19 million. So Judge is going to have 19 million reasons to smile this season. And of course, once he hits free agency after this year, he's going to get much more than 19 mil per year for sure, especially if he keeps performing as he did in the first and fourth game of the series with the breakdown. So as mentioned before, so used to come to town, and I have to credit the New York Post. Reading an article before the series even started, saying that it's basically going to be a slobber knocker, and basically the first game was that just by the very definition. Now, overall, look at this; it's kind of interesting. It was a split. The Yankees taking the first and fourth game, and of course Houston taking the middle two in the the meat and the sandwich in the middle there. So I guess I'll break down each of the games and kind of maybe the takeaways and kind of see really who kind of won this one. There's a lot of different ways to look at this one if you're the Yankees, just for the fact that again they had that I'm sure you guys by now that large hitless streak in the middle of games 2 and 3 there that almost that bled into game 4 a little bit, 16 innings of not with no hit. You could look at that, which way would you look at this, the split? You look at it positively or negatively. I think if you're the Yankees, you're losing, you're down 2 games to 1, you're getting no hit there. So if you could steal that 4th game, it's almost a breath of fresher air that you think, hey, you know what, maybe we got the moral victory here. But then again, you could look at the side of Houston and saying, hey, look, we shut down the New York Yankees, especially without Ace Verlander back on the mound again. For 2 games, and plus they had that combined no-hitter, which I'll get into. So maybe that's the moral victory, and we did that on the road at Yankee Stadium, So just imagine if we were playing in Owl Park. So 2 different ways to look at this, but yeah, I'll break that then afterwards. So we start off the first game, the slobber knocker, and that's what it was for the Yankees. Now the Yankees sent out Jameson Taillon there on the mound, and the Astros got to work right away. 3-run homer by Bregman, and Bregman, he's Alex Bregman there, but very chippy. He's a very chippy, very mouthy type of player. So when he hits one, everyone hates Altuve a little more because the whole buzzer thing. But Bregman's kind of a little bit there, a little bit of villain in the way. So puts the Astros up right out of the gate, 3-0 3-run home run. But nevertheless, Giancarlo Stanton answers right back with a 3-run home run of his own in the bottom of the first off of Framber Valdez, and it was kind of an opposite field shot. And a good, another good note about this series, you got a number of home runs from Stan, so maybe he's starting to come around a little bit again. He was out for a while with that ankle injury, came back a little bit, been a little bit slow at the bat, been getting a little bit better, in the field a little bit more, but really kind of slowed down on the home run pace a little bit, but gets on the Yankees right back on the board, ties the game again, an opposite field home run to right field into the second deck, goes 3-3, but unfortunately later in the third, Jameson serves up another 3-run home run, this time to Pedro Alvarez. So again, like the New York Post said, slobber knocker, big blow by big blow. So you have now your third 3-run home run of the game already, again by Alvarez. So put then the Houston Astros back up 6-3, and that would go into the ninth inning when Ryan Presley, their closer, no relation to Elvis, with 2 runners on, faces Aaron Hicks. Again, if you remember, Aaron Hicks had that big, what turned out to be a triple in Tampa in that final game. Again, it was one where when he swung the bat, he kind of admired the ball a little bit, and you could possibly say that should have been an inside the park home run. Wasn't. Now Trevino picked him up on the sac fly, so kind of raced that a little bit. But again, hit Hicks, kind of admiring a home run that ended up hitting the wall. But this time Hicks put a big swing on it, and he did the same thing. He admired it, but this time, there was no doubt about it. Blasted a 3-run home run. Again, this is in the bottom of the ninth. The Yankees losing 6-3. You got 2 runners on with their closer again, and overall, Houston coming in, statistically wise, had the best bullpen in the game at the time. Again, with their closer on, and Hicks hits a big 3-run home run now, ties the game 6-6. Again, for Hicks, that definitely the biggest home run. I know he had a big one in Minnesota, had that triple in Tampa, but this was the shot. Huge moment against the Houston Astros. Again, the Yankees down by 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth inning there. Hits the 3-run, ties the game up, and Presley ends up getting lifted. After that, serves up a single to Jose Trevino, and at that point, they have to pull him out of the game and go with Ryan Stanek, the former Tampa Bay Ray, with a full caveman beard there and the long hair. Definitely has the Viking look going on for him. And Trevino, and like a lot of also in that third Tampa game, part of a lot of these big Yankee rallies in the ninth inning. So he, again, with 2 outs, gets on base with a single. And at that point from there, DJ against Stanek, and it was a good matchup with DJ. Laid off a lot of tough pitches, able to draw a walk. So that put runners on first and second. And then, of course, you had the man of the hour, Aaron Judge, who just before the game, again, settled his arbitration deal. And now with Stanek, comes on, again, have 2 runners on, Trevino at second, DJ, who walked at first base with Aaron Judge up. Now, Judge worked the count to 3-0, and this was kind of impressive by Judge here. Now, it was 3-0 with Anthony Rizzo up on deck. Now, normally in this case with Judge, obviously if you're a good player, you're locked in, the manager's going to give you the hit sign. But if you hit that ball, you got to be 1,000% sure that you're going to either, launch it 100 feet or it's just going to end somewhere no one's going to catch it. You can't swing in 3-0 and have like a little dribbler back to the mound or, a little chop at a shortstop or a little, sky high pop up like that. Because in that situation, you got to commend Judge for that, because with, you'd almost like, let take a strike there, maybe take 2 strikes, because in that case you could, if you're Judge there, you almost kind of would want to walk, because then if you walk, you got Rizzo up with bases loaded, and that's a situation that the pitcher is definitely under the gun there. And we all know with Rizzo, he stands over the plate, he gets hit by a lot of pitches, but he's also a good hitter as well, so you get hit. So if you're judging that situation, you're one heartbeat away from having a bases loaded, and it's 3-0. Again, to put a swing on that, it's very gutsy, so I got to commend Judge on that. But if you do swing, you better hit, and Judge did that. Hits a line drive to left field, scores Trevino easily from second base, and the Yankees have a thrilling 7-6 walk-off win. Again, at the point, it was Aaron Judge's second walk-off hit for the Yankees. Again, early in the season against Toronto, he had a walk-off home run, but this was a walk-off line drive to left field, again, on a 3-0 pitch of all pitch. Got to give credit to Judge there. Again, gutsy call to do that. But again, if you swing 3-0, you better make contact, and it better be somewhere hard and not where anyone's going to catch it. And Judge did that. And the Yankees come away with a thrilling 7-6 win there. Couldn't make arguments, probably the best win of the year. But again, there'll be another game in the series where you can also make that argument for that game. So exciting way to start off for the Yankees. Then comes game 2, where the old nemesis, Justin Verlander, on the mound. Again, he missed last year with the Tommy John surgery. And Verlander has been a thorn for the Yankee side. They used to beat him up. When he first came on with Detroit, he would always shut the Yankees down. And then his last couple of years with Detroit, a little bit, maybe started transitioning a little bit. He was always a hard thrower, but that was the only time the Yankees beat him up a little bit. But since he's been with Houston, pretty much untouchable. The Yankees have never been able to touch it. He's like 500 years old, but still, he just dominates the Yankees. And this really was no any different. Goes 7 innings against the Yankees. Gives up only 1 run. Now, for the Yankees, they sent Luis Severino on the mound, and he was equally as good. He was kind of going inning to inning with Verlander, shot for shot, kind of a little reminiscent of the 2017 season and some of those playoff games. But unfortunately for Severino, would fall behind, give up a 3-run home run in the 6th inning by Kyle Tucker, put the Yankees in a 3-0 hole. Now, just an inning before that, Severino had a little trouble. They actually had second and third with nobody out, and he actually pumped 3 strikeouts in a row to get out of that jam. So, got out of the big jam in the 5th, but unfortunately it was the 6th was undoing with that 3-run home run. And for Verlander, the only run he would give up would be in the bottom of that 6th-inning frame. Solo shot to Giancarlo Stanton, who again starting to heat up. This time another little right field. Didn't go to the second deck like the game before, but still to right fielding and going opposite field, which usually, that's usually a good sign that someone's going to, finally come out of this slump. You see players kind of go up the middle more, go opposite field, and then once they feel more comfortable, when they're more locked in, then you'll probably start seeing some more Stanton pull the ball a little bit more. So again, just a good sign for him getting a couple home runs. But that was really the only thing, the bright spot for the Yankees. Now, the Yankees did have an opportunity in the 9th. Again, even though they lose a lot of times, they still kind of crawl back and make a game of it. DJ LeMahieu up with a couple of runners on, but unfortunately grounds out to third base, and that ends the rally in the 9th. Again, DJ with a big swing there. If he would have hit a home run, could have given the Yankees a thrilling 4-3 win, but you can't really get too greedy. So unfortunately, DJ grounds out, and the Yankees got to take a 3-1 loss. And at the point now, the series is tied 1-1, which brings us to Game 3, which is probably, I guess, Houston's most exciting game, just for the fact they threw a combined no-hitter. So the Yankees couldn't even muster up a run. 7 innings combined from Christian Javier, as well as Hector Neris, and then Ryan Presley, who again blew the game, the Thursday night game, the first game. Redeemed himself, and again the Yankees with no hit, combined 9 innings, only reached one run reach Josh Donaldson on error, but again other than that the Yankees completely no hit through 9 innings, which is remarkable. This with the idea of having Judge, DJ, and Stanton, all these players like that, and again not even able to muster up one hit, and unfortunately that would almost bleed into the start of Game 4. Astros sending up Jose Urquidy up. Again, not really one of their best starters, but he goes 6 innings and continues the no hit streak. So if you look at combined Game 3 and Game 4, up until the 7th inning when Stanton finally hits a home run, the Yankees were no hit for 16 innings, and that was the first time that's happened to a team since 1961. So the Yankees with this great offense and all, and so forth, and having this miraculous 3-run home runs like crazy in Game 1, again, pretty much just completely shut down, which is mind-boggling. But nevertheless, that's what happened. So for the Yankees, they put Nestor Cortez on the mound, and you're starting to see the innings perhaps pile up on him. Again, he hasn't really done this for a full season, and you kind of starting to see him tire on something, recently, not able to go as long a little bit. In this game, little signs of that. It wasn't overly terrible, but only able to go 5 innings for the Yankees. Put the Yankees behind early. Jose Altuve hits a home run in the first inning, again, puts Houston up 1-0. And then Mauricio Dubon hits an RBI single, brings in 2 RBI single, brings in 2 in the 4th inning. Again, the Yankees were down 3-0 in this game. And then it's the fact that in Game 3, there were no hit, and up to the 7th inning point, still no hit. And you're wondering, wow, is it possible that, the Yankees will get back-to-back no-hit 2 games in a row? That's something that has happened since, I believe, the 1917 St. Louis Browns. So it would have been very embarrassing. But again, luckily, Stanton does hit that home run, another home run. So his 3rd in the series. Again, the bat heating up. This time, straightaway dead center field. Goes to Monument Park, puts the Yankees on the board 3-1. And at this point, you're like, you know what? You hate to lose, 3 games in a row like that, especially to Houston. But it's almost a sigh of relief of not getting no hit again 2 games in a row, because that would have been utterly embarrassing. But from the 8th inning on, actually, so many great moments in this game. Again, you could argue whether Game 1 or this Game 4 was the more satisfying win. But so break it down. So in the 8th inning, with a runner on, DJ LeMahieu up. Now they had one of their bullpen guys, Phil Maton on. And he's almost like Jeff Nelson from memory. Kind of doesn't throw overly hard, but kind of has that frisbee slider. But DJ worked a tough at bat. Was down at 1.1 and 2, and then Maton kind of threw one of those frisbee sliders in there, but didn't quite break, and ended up actually catching. Kind of went like inside and broke over the plate, where it's supposed to start in the middle of the plate and dip away for him to swing and miss. This actually did like the opposite effect. So kind of missed a point there, and DJ put a good swing on it. Hits a 2-run home run to left field at that point, then ties the game at 3-3. Now, in the inning, Judge and Rizzo would walk back-to-back and following that DJ LeMahieu home run. So they actually, Dusty Baker came out, took Maton out of the game, brought in Abreu, getting the hard thrower, and Stan had an opportunity to win, at least put the Yankees ahead right there. But unfortunately, Abreu blew away Stanton on 3 pitches, wasn't even close. And so the Yankees at that point just had to settle for the tie there. And you almost like, regret it a little bit, though. Even though the Yankees are a home team, you still have the opportunity to get the last at bat of any inning frame. But you had a running scoring position. It would have been a great idea with Clay Holmes warming up. If Stan could have just somehow put the Yankees ahead there, and you could bring in Clay Holmes, because you never want to go into extra innings. Even if with the home team still, it's just, anything can happen, especially have those ghost runners on second base. It's almost guaranteed the other team's going to score. So the Yankees, even though, yes, you're very relieved that you tied the game there at 3-3 with a 2-run home run, but you almost felt that you might have lost a little bit by, again, not capitalizing. Really, it would have been a great opportunity for the Yankees to take that lead there. But unfortunately, then the Yankees had to go to the ninth, where very interesting now. So Holmes has a clean top of the ninth, again, gives up no runs. But so this got interesting. So they go with Ryan Stanek, who, again, gave up the Aaron Judge walk-off hit in game one, blows away Donaldson for the first at-bat. Now Torres comes up, works a walk, so he's on first base with Aaron Hicks up at the plate. Now, really interesting turn of events here. So Torres, was trying to read Stanek, and a couple of times Stanek, if he had a good pickoff move, probably could have nailed Torres, but it looks like he really wasn't paying attention. He was kind of focusing on Hicks a little bit. And so there was one pitch where Stanek almost flinched a little bit, and Torres took a few steps like he was going to steal the base, and a really dead giveaway. So you figured that Stanek, the next pitch, would at least throw over to first base to keep Torres honest, but no. So Stanek threw the pitch, Torres took off for second base. The throw to second base was wild. Ball actually trickled into center field, allowed Torres to go to third base. So the Yankees were set up with just one out, runner on third base with Aaron Hicks at the plate. And admittedly for Hicks, he fell behind early in the count, but he worked it there, laid off some tough pitches. But then unfortunately, Stanek ended up pumping 101 mile per hour fastball right down the middle. Hicks strikeout. Now remember, Gleyber Torres was on third base, but he was kind of coming home a little bit, just trying to score. So after the strikeout, catcher had the ball, tried to throw it back to third. He actually flinched to go back to third, rolled his ankle, and it was so bad he couldn't even move. So he actually was off the bed, actually fell to the floor, just was basically immobile. And Bregman was able to catch the ball, take the ball from the catcher, received the throw, and then easily tagged Gleyber, who didn't even try. He was just on the floor just because he couldn't put any pressure on the leg at all. So Gleyber and Torres needed to be helped off the field. They had to go with Marwin Gonzalez just to replace him defensively. But with the Yankees, they went from first and third with only one out. All Aaron Hicks had to do was hit a sac fly to get him in, to a situation where Hicks strikes out. It's a strikeout, throw him out play at third base, plus the fact that you lose Gleyber Torres now for the game and you're out of the inning. Now, after the game, Boone said it was a mild sprain. He doesn't think that be anything extensive. Now, at this point, they haven't announced anything regarding the injured reserve list. But on the replay, though, the ankle roll looked pretty bad. So it's going to be, we'll see. Hopefully, again, maybe just needs a few days off that. But if not, I wouldn't be shocked if he needs like a 10-day stint in his reserve list. But it wasn't only the offensive plays. Again, the hitting that was exciting about this game. Big moment in 10th inning with King. Again, now they have the ghost runner on second base. So they had originally the catcher started there at second base, but they ended up bringing a pinch runner, Juan Castro. Now he easily steals third base. Altuve, he actually reaches on an error, so now you have first and third and nobody out, and King's out there, sweating it up a little bit. But to King's credit, gets out of the jam first with a big strikeout of J.J. Manatevic, and then after that, Houston sends up some of the big hitters, Kyle Tucker, as well as who had the big 3-run home run in the second game off of Severino, followed by Yuri Gurriel. Now, to King's credit, gets two infield pop-ups. I'll say the Kyle Tucker pop-up was a little bit more to left field. Hicks actually had to run in to get it, but again, it was kind of near the shortstop hole. But again, anytime you're running in, you always defer to in that situation to the left fielder. So Hicks catches it, just kind of almost on the lip of the grass of shortstop. And then against Gurriel, he has a pop-up to first base. Now, it was a situation where, now normally that's definitely the first baseman's ball in foul territory there, but King was actually running over, and for a second it looked like maybe a situation where King would go for it. Now, again, you never want the pitcher fielding like that, never, ever, ever, and it could have been a situation where maybe King was just so focused on getting out of this big bases-loaded jam, again, with nobody out, but at the last moment, he rightfully deferred to Rizzo. Rizzo caught the ball and got the Yankees out of that jam, which then brought the Yankees to the bottom of the 10th inning where they put this game away. Now, again, Hicks was the final batter to strike out when Gleyber Torres had the ankle issue, so he was now the ghost runner on second base. Now IKF came up, and again, what makes this 2022 Yankee teams different from previous Yankees teams? They do things like bunting. So he actually lays down a good bunt, kind of almost kind of really didn't attack the ball, kind of bent back a little bit, so it wasn't the ideal stance of laying down a bunt, but he got the job done. Little tapper, but they throw him out at first base, but that moves then Hicks to third base with less than 2 outs, where all you need is a sac fly to get him in. So the Yankees go to the bench there, bring up Matt Carpenter. I guess now at that point with only 1 out, they want to set up the double play, so they end up walking Carpenter. So the Yankees now first and third with DJ LeMahieu up, and again, this is the matchup you like. They have Seth Martinez on the mound, and at this point, it's getting a little tough because late afternoon game. Again, it was a 1 o'clock start, but by this point, the shadows started creeping in. Again, very infamous, even at the previous Yankee Stadium. This one, usually those shadows, you get the shadow in between home plate and the pitcher's mound. So if you're a batter, you're looking at the pitcher, under the sun. But when that ball for a split second is under the sun, and the next thing you know, it's in the shadow. So it's very tough to hit. DJ LeMahieu ends up striking out, which brings up Aaron Judge. Now, Aaron Judge, had the walk-off win in Game 1. Again, got his $19 million arbitration, win / compromise, whatever you want to call it. So this was definitely him riding high here, and he just kept the season on going. Again, he's just really going to get a big payday at the end of the year because he ends up first pitch swings 1-0, and you're like, he's going to strike out here just with the shadows and everything else. Next pitch, though, again, kind of a breaking ball, doesn't exactly break, and then Judge unloads, launches a 3-run walk-off home run, goes into the visitors' bullpen in left field, and Judge himself actually wasn't sure, shouldn't even bother rounding the bases, but I guess just to make it formally had to. But again, a thrilling 3-run walk-off home run. The Yankees, again, in this game, were down 3-0, being no hit through 6 after being no hit the game before, and just in a couple innings, you get the Stanton home run, a DJ LeMahieu game-tying home run, and a game-winning 3-run home run by Aaron Judge. Again, a thrilling 6-3 win over the Houston Astros, and then the Yankees again able to tie the series 2-2. And this season, amazing comebacks. It was the 22nd comeback of the season for the New York Yankees against a team. National team was the most stingiest after 8th inning, and again the Yankees win a 9th inning and get affair in Game 1, a walk-off win, and then of course now you have a walk-off win in this 10th inning of the Game 4. So 2 thrilling wins. Again, sandwiched around 2 kind of really hapless losses. So kind of weird how to look at this series there for the Yankees. If you're Houston, you're probably holding your head up, just the fact that a little fluky, because again, usually teams don't hit home runs, like 3-run home runs to win games or tie games the way like Aaron Hicks did in the 9th inning. So Houston probably felt like they almost let the games get away. So in that sense, even though the losses were tough for them, they probably going to walk away feel that they're the better team because they almost controlled the pace of all 4 games. It was just some crazy Yankee home runs, which usually you're not going to get in a playoff scenario. So again, they probably feel good about themselves, like they almost gave those 2 games away in that regard. If Presley was just a little sharper in Game 1, as well as and if Phil Maton was a little sharper in the 8th inning of Game 4, none of that would have happened, and they probably would have possibly swept the series. So kind of different way to look at it. So again, you probably tilt the so-called moral victory to Houston's way just because they kind of control the pace of these 4 games. But again, for the Yankees, and on the way they look at it, they may look at it as like, hey, you know what? You may shut us down, all that, but just in a blink of an eye, we could come right back. So, you should be afraid of us. So 2 different ways to look at it. But again, I just think Houston maybe comes away looking a little better at this one again, because for the most part, they did shut the Yankees down for a good portion of these 4 games. And again, I don't call the Yankee home runs fluky, but again, you don't get too many times you get 3-run home runs by like the one Hicks got in Game 1. That just usually almost never happens. So it's almost like a bit of a freak occurrence. So, but nevertheless, the Yankees again have a thrilling split 2-2 to start this homestand. Now after this, you got the Oakland Athletics coming in for 3 games, and also you got to look now. If you look at the standings, actually Boston's crawling up at least at this point to second place in the AL East. Now the Yankees are going to start playing Boston a little bit more. Come the second week of July. For the most part, the Yankees have been facing Tampa a lot, Toronto a lot, Baltimore a lot, but it really hasn't been Boston yet, which you would just think surprising just because of the quote historic rival there, but it's the way they made the schedule up. Still haven't only played them the opening 3 games at Yankee Stadium back in April, so they haven't seen Boston yet. They're getting a little bit better, a little bit healthier. So Boston right now for this 11-game back, if they handle their business against the Yankees, they could really put a dent in the Yankees' lead and trim that up a little bit. Or if you're the Yankees, vice versa. If you just keep rolling along here, knock them down the standings even further if possible. So that's it for the Yankees. So again, a thrilling 2-game split. I think Houston walks away probably feeling they let those 2 wins go away, so they probably feel like they're the better team, even though the Yankees, have again about 8 or 9 games better in the stand, I guess record wise. So, but a good match for the Yankees, and there's going to be a quick turnaround by next week. The Yankees are going to be down Houston, so they'll continue this little battle there. So that'll be part 2. So we'll see if there's any carryover from that. You don't like to see the fact that, again, getting still shut down by Justin Verlander, which is, even though he's like 1,000 years old, against the same old story. So you're still kind of bummed out about that. You have to be concerned now about Gleyber Torres' ankle. Again, is that something that maybe it's going to go away in a few days, or will that have any lingering effect for the rest of the season? Again, he's been having a good, really good bounce back season for the Yankees, and it's definitely what he needed and the Yankees needed. So it would be a shame that he's going to be a little bit hobbled a little bit for the rest of the season. Hopefully it's not the case. You do like to see that now Giancarlo Stanton heating up. 3 home runs, again, in the series in the first, second, and fourth games. And, of course, no one got hit in the third game. There was no hit. And again, and you maybe just don't like the fact that the Yankees was no hit in that third game. Now, it was a combined no-hitter, so it's a little different than if, like, one guy throws the whole no-hitter. And something I believe Houston also did to the Yankees back in, 2003. So it was the same thing. It was like a combined no-hitter. And I believe our old friend Billy Wagner, when he used to be with the Astros, was part of that one. So it's kind of weird that Houston, just whatever the reason, this has the Astros just has the Yankees number and those type of freaky things, and of course in the playoffs. But again, good little possible American League possibly championship playoff preview down the road. Both teams doing well. Again, Yankees will do better record wise, but still Houston has the experience, has Verlander back, and again the Yankees haven't been able to slay that dragon. So we'll see what happens. So thanks for listening. And Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Subscribe, get notified when new content goes up, and we'll see you next time.